All right, so we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Bets. I'm your host, Zach Stonerock, joined by the one and only Avery Cunningham. Avery, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Zach, thanks for having me again. How are you this morning?
Good, man. I'm feeling good since we're both repping the Bourbon and Bets brand here. So
this was a total accident. He just found this shirt this morning. I wore this, yesterday, and then I was like, well, I'll just wear it again. I didn't really think so.
Hey, the Bourbon and Bets shirt never goes out of style, no matter how many times you wear it. So,
Oh, actually, I did wear this to Costco a couple weeks ago, and then one of the workers asked me if it was like a club or something like that, like a cigar club.
It is.
Yeah,
it is a club. This is a very exclusive. If you're a follower, a watcher, a listener, you're a part of a very exclusive club.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
More exclusive than Costco, actually. So,
I don't know. Costco can be pretty exclusive.
Yeah, I'm a Sam's Club guy myself out here on the East Side. So,
I have a Sam's Club membership, but my wife Brandy has a Costco membership. Speaking of wife, happy Mother's Day to you, Brandy. I love you. Thank you for everything that you've done. Giving us Amari, and I appreciate you.
Hey, shout out to Brandy. Happy Mother's Day to Brandy, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Whether you're like a birth mom, or if you're just, filling that role for somebody, y'all are truly the real MVPs. I know that's kind of an old, outdated statement, but holds true. Always going to carry the same weight. Y'all are modern day, real life superheroes. So thank you to all the moms out there. Enjoy the day. Hopefully somebody does something special for you. If not, hopefully the shout out fills that void for you also. So, before we jump into the NBA games, Avery, did you happen to catch any of the Kentucky Derby yesterday?
I did not, man. It was a cleaning day around the house, so I was, trying to clean up around the house around the game. So, I didn't catch. Well, I seen the highlights. What's his name? It was like, I can't remember his name. Was it like Rich something?
Rich Steaks.
Rich something. Something rich. But if you bet on him, you probably got rich last.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Let me get his name right here first, though. I want to show this horse some respect after Rich Strike.
Rich Strike, yeah.
80-1 long shot. So second biggest long shot to win the Kentucky Derby. That's huge. I'm a little upset because this year, so usually when it comes to the Derby, like I'll go and I'll place a bunch of wagers and a bunch of trifectas. And
you mean all horse races, not just the Derby?
Well, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont for sure. And if I'm bored, I'll open up an app on my phone. Watch something over in like Japan or something.
Japan, that's so random.
It's crazy. Like you could literally bet on horses 24/7. Just if the sun's up, the horses are running.
The horses running. There's horses running somewhere.
That's true. But so typically what I do is I just go and I put together a few they're called exotic bets for people out there who aren't as familiar. It's bets that aren't just like you're betting on one horse to win. You're mixing it up. You're saying, I think, these horses are going to finish. These 4 horses are going to be the top 4. These 3 are going to be top 3, whatever. So typically what I do is I put together a bunch of different like combinations. And every year I typically include like a big like trifecta, exacta. So a trifecta is when you try to guess the top 3 accurately. Exacta is when you try to guess the top 2 accurately. So every year I put in the long shot in a couple of those. I take the 2 like favorites, the 2 that are getting the most press, and I usually try to partner the long shot with those. Never been successful in any of the years I've ever gambled. So this year I was like, I'm just going to save that money. I'm going to try to be responsible, and I'm not going to include the long shot in any of my wagers. It's the tale as old as time. The long shot wins the race. So if I would have put the money down on the exacta, I don't have the number in front of me here, but I'm pretty sure a $1 bet would have paid out like
a
four.
hundred.
I think it's $4,000 for $1. So
yeah,
yeah.
I know. If you, I think they say if you would bet like $2 on Rich Strike just to win outright, you would have won. Like, or I'm sorry, if you would have bet $2, $2, you would have won 100.
So at 80 to 1, you would have won 160.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, and you're the one that that throws the darts, man. Disappointing you, man.
I'm disappointed in myself, Avery. My bank account's disappointed in me as well.
Yeah, but hey, there's always next year. So
hey, there's always I don't know which one's next, the Preakness or the Belmont, but those are coming up in like a couple weeks. So
yeah, and then we may have to take Bourbon and Bets on the road to Kentucky Derby one of these years. So
next year, I'm gonna get the boys together.
Yeah,
we're gonna head down and Churchill Downs and watch the ponies run.
Yeah, and I'm be wearing my Sunday's best or Saturday's best. It'll be a good time.
We'll be sitting right next to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
Yeah,
I saw Darren Waller was there as well. There's obviously you got like Drake was there, Jack Harlow.
Yeah, all the big names.
They just haven't been lucky enough to land us yet.
Exactly.
It's really going to take the event over the top.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead and shout out Rich Strike. Congratulations.
Also, go ahead.
I was going to say he wasn't even supposed to run in the race. He got added to the race the day before. Somebody else dropped out, so he got added and he hadn't won a race in his last like 7 starts. So,
man, that's a great American story right there.
It's the great American underdog story.
Yeah,
it's like the average Joe's gym.
No doubt. Also, Canelo Alvarez lost yesterday.
Yes.
So that was just upsets happening like all around. Like Dimitri Bivol beat Alvarez. So
yeah,
I fell asleep, so I didn't get the chance to watch the fight. But I woke up and I was shocked. Like, whoa! Like Canelo lost. Like, wow.
He hasn't lost since 2013.
Yeah, that was in when he fought Floyd Mayweather, and I was in Las Vegas for the fight, but I didn't get to go to the fight because I had a football game. But I usually tell people I was at the fight since we lost the football game. But I was in Las Vegas the same day as that fight. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you would have shown up, then maybe Floyd would have taken his first L.
Maybe, but I seriously doubt that. He's one of the best for a reason. So,
yeah, slippery.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's jump into the NBA. It's been a pretty fun and exciting first couple rounds. We're through the first round. You had mentioned that Toronto was probably going to beat Philly. I told you Embiid was going to be the difference maker.
Well,
would you like to say anything?
Well, first and foremost, that series was closer than it appeared. The series should have went 7 games. If you watch Game 3, Scotty Barnes didn't play. Also, they were down. Toronto had them down double figures and double digits, and then they end up Philly ended up coming back, and James Harden fouled out, and then I think it was Precious Achiuwa that missed both of the free throws when it's tied game, and then it took a great shot by Joel Embiid just to beat them, and then they end up winning two straight. I was like, where was this at the whole time? Toronto did make it somewhat tough for them. Fred VanVleet really struggled during the series, but
got hurt, ended up not even playing.
Yeah, even when he was playing, he struggled big time. So. Pascal Siakam, he played pretty decently. Precious, Chris Boucher, played pretty good, but too much Philly. Tyrese Maxey really came on. Tobias Harris had a couple of good games, and then Joel Embiid is the MVP of the league. So it was just at the end of the day, there was just too much. But it was a close series, despite what you may have to say, Zach.
I just wanted you to acknowledge that I was right.
Okay. Oh, this is what we're doing? Oh,
that's all I wanted, man.
You said that Brooklyn was going to win the last series too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I did.
Yeah, we could do this all day.
Huge letdown out of Brooklyn this season.
Oh, huge.
Kyrie Irving, do we think he's going to be there next year, or is he going to pack up and leave again?
I don't know. Like he's I don't know. It just seems like he's never happy. So he may end up leaving. He may end up staying because he's got KD there. But I don't know. They're going to have to make some changes. Get some more pieces. Joe Harris wasn't healthy either this year, so that's a loss of a shooter. So I mean, with them, if you got Seth Curry, if Seth Curry comes back, I don't know what his contract looks like. They'll have the shooters. If Drummond comes back, I mean they'll have him, but they'll still need some more pieces. And then they got Bruce Brown, who's was probably their best player like throughout the series. Yeah. So I mean, he's going to keep getting better. Get more confident. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen? They still got two of the most skillful offensive players in the NBA. So they'll be fine. They just got to find a way to defend.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that team and what happens with Kyrie and what happens with KD. And, me personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Brooklyn looks completely different next year.
Yeah. They may get a new coach, but I'm not sure. Too bad they couldn't get Ty Lue. They didn't hire him last year. So if they had Ty Lue, they probably would have won it last year, but
they probably just have another first round exit out of the playoffs.
Nope. I don't think so.
Maybe if they had Carson Wentz running point guard for him, they'd been all right.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think he'll consistently throw accurate passes. So that can cause turnovers. So,
yeah, I mean, I could just imagine Carson Wentz out there somehow having someone else break both his ankles. Same play.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. He's definitely had some bad luck for sure.
All right. Well, shout out to the Mavs. The Mavs pulled it out. If you listen to the previous episodes, I was not optimistic about the Mavs pulling it out, especially with not having Luka for the first two games. But Jalen Brunson stepped up, was a dog, really came through for that team. And then as soon as Luka came back, they kind of put it all together. Luka does change that offense. Initially, it was not for the best because they had a pretty good flow. But once Jalen and Luka kind of figured out their chemistry back on the court again, Luka with the pick and rolls and the kickouts to Maxi Kleber, that just set the tone for the team. Utah should be a much better team than what they are. They have a lot of talent. I just don't know. I don't know what's missing, I guess. It seems like they have solid people at every position, and they don't have a bad bench either. So I'm kind of at a loss for why they aren't able to finish the season out or close out big games.
You know what? I'm at a loss too. And, with Luka being out in those 3 games, I'm sorry, to go down 2-1, that can't happen. Like you have the top 5 players of that series. You probably have 3 of them, on Utah's team.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to win that, to win those 3 games. So that was pretty disappointing as far as the Jazz. And I will apologize to you and another listener on the show, Lavaris Williams. I owe y'all an apology because I did think that Utah was going to win, and I told Lavaris that I would apologize to him publicly if they did win. So there you go, Lavaris.
Well, I don't know Mr. Williams, but I already like him.
Yeah, he's also a Dallas fan. He's
go
a sports fan. But yeah, that team's going to look drastically different next year. The Jazz, they should be at least competing for titles, but first round exit, that team's going to be in research or not research, but rebuild mode coming this season, in my opinion. So that's pretty sure your boy Trevor's not going to be too happy about that. But
things happen, man. Teams have to go through those processes. You can try it for so long, and again, like I said, I feel like they have the pieces, and that organization put together the pieces to put them in the best position to win, and they just couldn't figure it out together as a team. So,
like, where was Mike Conley at? What is he alive? Like, is that a clone or what? I don't know what's going on with Mike, but like he just didn't show up like the whole series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and he's in my opinion, he's one of the top true pass first point guards
Yeah, or he
in the
was.
league. Yeah,
Yeah,
or was, and you're right. He disappeared.
yeah. I'm like,
You almost have to question if he's not going to show up for the team. Do you just put Jordan Clarkson in there, who's just going to shoot the ball? At least he's going to he's going to force his way into 25 points a game if he's starting and getting the minutes. So
right, no doubt.
So I mean, you gotta ask yourself why some adjustments weren't made. Obviously, you don't want to abandon a veteran guy like Mike Conley, who has the ability to well, you like to think he has the ability to turn it on, but it just never really happened. So,
Nope.
I truly thought in that series that Rudy Gobert was going to be a bigger difference maker as well, because Dallas doesn't have dominant big guys. It's Dwight Powell, Kleber, and then Boban coming off the bench whenever he gets in there for a minute and a half.
Yeah, and Bertans, but
and Bertans, but like he doesn't get a lot of playing time either, and he kind of plays kind of like a stretch 4 position more so, where he is more of a shooter than a guy down low. So
yeah, Kleber too, like that, and that's what I like about the roster, like the Mavs roster. They got, unlike what the Lakers did, like they constructed their roster around Luka to where Luka can go in, penetrate, try to get to the lane and then find open shooters. Like, okay, Lakers, take notes. So I'm sorry to bring that garbage onto the show, but I just had to compare that real quick.
This is all good. I don't know if it's still going on, but I loved how who was it? Was it Shaq or Chuck? One of them was like, "We're not even gonna call them the Lakers anymore. It's that team in LA, that purple and gold team."
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they bums for sure.
Let's go ahead and jump into the games that we have coming up today. So today is Sunday, May 8th. So if you're listening to this, we're going to talk about the games today. We're going to talk about the games tomorrow, Monday, May 9th. So we're going to start with the West Coast series that we have going on right now. So we got the Suns and the Mavericks currently going on. That's the first game today. Tips off at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Phoenix is up 2-1 right now. This game is in Dallas. The Suns are favored by 2. However, American Airlines Center is there is a home court advantage there. I mean, the Mavs, they sell out their games. They have a very loyal fan base. So I think Suns -2. Let me go through the rest of these stats, and I'm gonna give kind of my take on what I think the difference maker in this game is. The money line for this, the Suns are -135, and the Mavericks are +115. So based off those odds there, you can tell that the lines makers and the odds makers are torn on this game. They think this game is going to be close, and I'm right there as well. The over/under's 214. If we look at the totals of these first 3 games, game 1 was 235, game 2 was 238, but then game 3 was 197. So there was a big shift in offense and defense there. So looking at these games, obviously Luka is a big piece for the Mavericks, right? He's averaging 35 points a game this series. Game 1, he had 45. They still lost. Game 2, he had 35. They lost. But then game 3, he had 26. And the big difference maker is that Jalen Brunson scored 28. So for me, I'm thinking that Luka's going to get his points. He's going to get his stats. He's going to pull down rebounds. He's going to distribute the ball. he's going to need Jalen to score at least 20 points. In my opinion, if Dallas wants to have a chance to win this game, because when you look at the Suns starting five, they all typically score in double digits. There was only one game, game two, where DeAndre Ayton didn't score double digits. He scored 9 points in 18 minutes, though. So he was just 1 point shy of that. That's why the Suns are the best team in the West, because they have the ability to score at every position and they have a deep bench. However, I think if like I said, if Brunson can score in the 20s, the game doesn't all have to fall on Luka, I think Dallas has a solid chance at winning this game and tying up this series. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be all about the role players at the for the Mavs. Like you took a look at the top players in the series. Luka's one. You got CP3, or CP3 or Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, maybe Jalen Brunson or Miles Bridges. So top five players in a series, like Dallas maybe have like one of those players in there. Arguably. So it's going to be all about how the role players step up. So Jalen Brunson's going to have big games. Going to have to score. You're going to have to hit open shots. You're going to get playing with Luka, you're going to get open shots. So Dorian Finney-Smith going to hit some shots. Reggie Bullock. Maxi Cleveland when he's in, Bertans when he's in, Dinwiddie, he's got to facilitate as well when he's in, and Luke is taking a break. So with all those things working for you, like they'll have a shot, to win the series. But with Phoenix here, they're across the board there. I mean, they got guys like you say that can score, that can defend. They got guys that come off the bench. CP3, one of the best floor generals, in the NBA still. Even though he's 37. Last game he had 7 when I was watching, he had at least 7 turnovers. I don't know how many he finished with. So that was like in one half. So that was a little bit of an anomaly. So I wouldn't expect that to happen moving forward. Devin Booker's, looking like, starting to come back to himself, after his injury. DeAndre Ayton, I kind of would expect more from him as far as scoring. He only scored 16. Not only, 16 is, good, for a center. And then, for that team. And then he scored, like you say, scored 9 in game 2. So I would expect him to have bigger games. So, I don't know. I think that, I would expect Phoenix to win tonight, or not tonight because they play at 3. But I expect them to win today, and then, maybe, finish off the gentleman's sweep at home. But, never know. Can't count on Luka. But, the Mavs role players going to have to, really going to have to step up.
I think another key for the Mavericks is they got to play at their pace. They can't get into a run and gun game with the Suns, because the Suns are going to win that every time. Mavericks, they don't have the 3-point shooting that the Suns have. I would actually argue that the only team in the league that does have the 3-point shooting that the Suns have is the Golden State Warriors. It's hard.
I don't know. That was been like, when you look at the last series, they shot really well from 3 last series. So it's not like they can't do it; they're capable of doing it. They just, they got to make shots. So outside of Luka, Jalen Brunson, and Dinwiddie, they don't really have a whole bunch of playmakers. So outside of those 3, like those other guys got to hit open shots when they get them.
Yeah, and I guess that's more so my point, is that that's not their game. They don't want to get into a fast-paced back and forth.
Yeah,
back and forth shooting threes. Yeah,
yeah. So I think they're one of the slower paced teams in the league. So they got to they just really rely on their half court offense. So it's not like they try to search for a whole bunch of fast break points. So you see how slow Luka is. So just try to him trying to run the fast break. But he's still effective.
He's slow, but he kind of glides all over the court. Like he's smooth with the ball for sure.
he still gets to his spots. You can't speed him up. He's still out there making plays. Dude's just doing great, doing simple moves, but still finishing strong at the rim. He's fun to watch for sure.
He's the Dallas Mavericks prototype for superstar. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki was never fast either, but
yeah, no doubt.
Just a good player. Just figures out how to play to his strengths.
Yeah.
So for this, I mean, for this game, Suns -2. I'd probably stay away from the spread on this one here, but the over under is more so what I'm interested in. 214. I think that. So this is a tough one also because if the Mavericks can slow down the Suns, this is going to be a low scoring game. But if the Suns get hot, I could see this game, the total being in like the 230s again, like the first two games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and go with the over on this. That's, assuming that teams are knocking down shots. Obviously, that kind of goes without saying, but if either team shoots below 35% from the field, this game will easily go under. But as long as both teams are performing and knocking down shots, even with the slower pace of the Mavericks, I think 214 is kind of a low number. We saw in the first two games that these teams can score some points. So we're going to go ahead and go with the over in this one.
I can see that happening. I mean, it's happened in the first two games. So, I can see definitely going that route. Dallas kind of made some adjustments. Like I said, CP3 had an abundance of turnovers game 3. So I think that may have played a role in why the score wasn't higher. But I could definitely see it going over again.
Yeah. And then obviously as a Dallas Mavericks fan, I'd love to lean towards the Mavericks money line with them being at home, but I try to keep fandom out of this. All right, welcome back, everybody. If it seemed like there was a strange break in the show, we had some technical difficulties that we had to work through, but we are back. We just wrapped up talking about the Suns and the Mavericks. I'm going to take the over in this game. Avery, I believe you said you were kind of on the same boat with that.
Yep.
I'm not really comfortable taking anyone on the spread. What were you going to take someone on the spread here?
If I had to choose, I'd choose Phoenix.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a bounce back game. Not as many turnovers for CP3 this game. I think it's a bounce back game for Miles Bridges as well. So yeah, this is going to be close. I think it'll be close. Maybe a 4 or 5 point victory. I think they'll cover the spread.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from it because I'm so unsure. It wouldn't be the first time I bet against my team, but I also have a sense that there's a very good chance they could win this game. So I'm just going to avoid betting the spread. Instead, let's just hope we see some high scoring, electric offenses.
Yeah, see a good game.
Right. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. This game is going to be played Monday night at 10 p.m. This is the other West Coast matchup going on right now. We got the Memphis Grizzlies at the Golden State Warriors. Golden State is up 2-1 in this series. In the game tomorrow, Golden State's favored by 9. Money line Golden State is -400. Memphis is +315. The over/under is 227. If we look at the point totals for game 1, Golden State won that game 117-116. That game was a lot closer than what I was expecting it to be. But for that total was 233. Game 2, Memphis won 106-101 for a total of 207. And then Golden State won last night 142-112 for a big total of 254. So, obviously when Golden State gets hot, the high scoring games favor the Golden State Warriors because of their offense, how they shoot the ball. So last night the spread was about 7 points. Actually, it was 7 points. And that was with Ja Morant. So it's up in the air. Unless you've heard of anything, Avery. I think his status is in question after his knee injury last night. So
yeah, I was going to ask you what the spread was last night for the game. So, but I don't know. -9 seems pretty high. High spread for this series. For the most part, this series has been close. But yesterday, Warriors shot the lights out of the ball. Really efficient on offense. Even like Otto Porter was, who was, who was really good, back in his day, back in the day with the Wizards. He played really well last night. He shot the ball well. I don't know what he finished with last night, but his between in the playoffs he hasn't really shot very well. But in history, he was a pretty good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he shot pretty well yesterday. All this without Gary Payton the second. Um, you know, so yeah, I don't know. -9 seems pretty high though. I didn't know if it was because of Ja's injuries, in his uncertainty. But yeah, if it was -7, for yesterday's game, so they must be on the right track. So they must think Ja would be all right to play.
So all yesterday, I'm in a couple different group chats with some buddies who also like to dabble in sports gambling. When we were talking about that 7-point spread, and I was like, I'm comfortable with Golden State. We're taking Golden State -7, but 7 points is a lot of points. And in any other series, 7 points is a lot of points. But then, Golden State comes out and they win by 30. So at that point now it's like 7 points isn't really a lot of points. And, obviously you don't know that till the game's played that they're going to win by 30. But now I'm looking at -9. And if Ja can't play, I don't know if that line is set with him playing or without him playing.
Yeah.
But without Ja, I would take Golden State probably -13 in this game. Just because if the Warriors come out and shoot the way they did last night, last night they shot 53% from 3-point and they were 63% from the field.
Yeah.
And usually I would say that's
uncommon.
uncommon, that's uncommon for teams to shoot like that, but it's not uncommon for Golden State when they get hot. And I just cut you off there. I apologize. What were you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say they shot 72% against or something like that at half or something something absurd. And they were only down. They were only up by 7. So that's because they had a whole lot of turnovers when I think they eliminated the turnovers. Going into that third quarter, and they just blew the game open.
Yeah, and I think a huge advantage. So I mentioned in our first episode that Golden State was my pick to win the championship this year, just because of their depth. You just mentioned Otto Porter coming in off the bench. They're two big guys that they don't even start most of the time. They usually try to go with a smaller lineup, but with Looney and Kuminga, I believe that's how you say his name, right?
Yeah, he's not a big guy, but yeah.
Well, tall.
Yeah, you're tall. Yeah, taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah. But and who was they have another big guy too, right? That's hurt maybe?
Oh, James Wiseman, right?
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Wiseman.
Yeah.
And I said Kuminga, but I meant Wiseman. He hasn't even played, right?
Yeah, he hasn't played all season.
Yeah. So so with their depth, and then you have Jordan Poole coming in off the bench. He's averaging 26 points per game off the bench. If we look at let me see here. So in game, hold on, I had a stat written down here. Maybe I didn't have it written down, but essentially when you look at bench points, he's outscoring the Grizzlies' entire bench most games.
Yesterday's what the Grizz bench or everybody else, I think the Grizz bench scored like 34, something like that.
Yeah. And when you have Poole coming in off the bench scoring 27, it's tough to battle that, because when you are giving your all-stars a break, giving them that 3-minute rest at the end of a quarter or at the end of a half or whatever, not typically not at the end of the half, but like at the end of like the first quarter and end of the third quarter, you typically hope that your bench players can keep up with the other team's bench players. But you got Jordan Poole, who any other team in the league, he'd probably be a starter right now. And he started a lot of games for Golden State, actually. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they just have a huge advantage there, and their ability to shoot the ball is crazy. Anyway, where I'm going with all of that is, Golden State -9. I'm pretty comfortable with taking that. And for the over under at 227, I'm taking the over there as well. So comfortable with Golden State spread and the over. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. I feel like I just rambled there a little bit, but I'm gonna hand it over to you now.
No, I like you said 227.
227.
Yeah, I like the over for that. Obviously if Ja doesn't play, all those numbers are going to change drastically. So yeah, like I said, -9. I think it's still pretty high. They're not going. The Warriors can't obviously are really good shooters, but they're not always going to shoot 62%. From the field. 53 or 52% from three. So I think all that's going to balance, will balance out a little bit. Ja's been playing well like the entire series. He's got to get some more help. Jaren Jackson had a good game 1, game 2 and 3, not so much. So he's got to use his height, to his advantage, and get some more baskets that way. Desmond Bane's kind of been struggling this series a little bit, so he's got to get going a little bit. They got the guys. They got the height and athleticism that can really bother the Warriors. So I don't know. -9 still thinks a little. I still think is pretty high. So I would probably as long as Josh healthy. Even if he isn't healthy, that's a whole different thing. Like you said, you can go -13. So I can see that happening as well. They still got a really good backup point guard in Tyus Jones. So they got the guys. They just just got to start producing a little bit. I know Desmond Bane's been having a little back issues. So I'm not sure if that's what's causing him to be a little off. But he's all those guys are going to have to start making more shots and helping Ja out a little bit more. So yeah, I can see why you would go -9. I still think that's pretty high. Like outside of yesterday's game, these teams are still evenly matched in my opinion.
Yeah, I also just looked up Kuminga's Wikipedia page. I was just hoping that maybe he was taller than what I thought, and I wouldn't look like as much of an idiot. He's only 6'7", so he's not really a big guy. You're right.
But he jumps really high. He's really athletic.
He plays big, is what I'm going to say. But no, then I looked up and I was like, "Wow, how did I get that mixed up?" And it's Jonathan Kuminga and James Wiseman. So I think it was the Jays, the first name Jays. So
yeah. So
anyway, I'm going to say whatever I can to make myself not look like an idiot.
Yeah, I was like, only big man I know is Kevin Looney, but hey, we all mess up. So.
Anyway, hey, we all make mistakes.
For sure.
The technical difficulties got me a little flustered is what I'm gonna roll with. So Golden State -9, Golden State over. We seem like we're in somewhat of an agreement there. You're thinking 9 points is a lot of points, but I guess it all comes down to what ends up happening with Ja Morant. And we probably won't know anything closer or until closer to tip off, maybe midday tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it's just a little a little sprain or something like that. I think it'll be good to go.
Look like just a little tweak, and
yeah,
I don't like how they're trying to make it seem like Jordan Poole intentionally tried to hurt him. He was making a play on the ball, happened to grab his knee, and I mean, when you throw your arm out and you're swiping at the ball, you're gonna swipe back, and I mean, he just happened to grab his knee instead of the ball. So
we're not going to talk about this series has been pretty physical play. Surprisingly, we're not going to talk about Dylan Brooks' little escapade
taking out Gary Payton.
Yeah,
Gary Payton don't deserve that.
Yeah, my man didn't even jump in the air. He just
came through and
just swap my man. Come
just
on,
clubbed him.
That was crazy. Didn't even jump. But hey, but my man Jordan Poole is breaking the code just by trying to go for the ball. Literally, right. He's really going for the ball.
That's insane.
But yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of plays this like in the playoffs this year. My boy Draymond. I didn't think he deserved to get kicked out for that, but that's my opinion.
That was a reputation call right there. They just
Yeah,
said because
totally,
Draymond is Draymond, let's get him out of here because
totally,
there's eyes
totally
on it.
agree.
They're like, if we don't do something, everyone's gonna be like, oh, Draymond's getting away with Draymond shit again.
Yeah. I wonder what the odds are for a flagrant two in game 4.
I mean, I could find them somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right,
I
let's go
don't.
ahead and move on. What was that? You got
I
something
was
else?
gonna say I didn't know if Dylan Brooks deserved to get suspended for that, but I mean,
I think because of the outcome for Gary Payton, because of like
yeah,
what the actual consequence was, when he hit the ground, he broke his arm, he fractured his arm, right?
yeah, fractured his elbow, something like
Fractured
that.
elbow, yeah. So I think because of that, the league had to do something.
Yeah,
So, all
I
right, let's
agree.
go ahead and move into the East. The other game that's on tonight at 8 p.m., we got Miami at Philly. Miami's up 2-1. Philly is favored tonight by 2 points. Miami is plus 110 on the money line. Philly's minus 130. So, again, we got really close odds there with an over-under of 207. Game 1, the Heat took 106-92 for a total of 198. Game 2, the Heat won 119-103 for a total of 222. And game 3, the Sixers won 99-79 for a total of 178. So games 1 and 2, Joel Embiid was out, fractured orbital socket, I think was what it was, and a concussion. Now he's wearing, the face mask that we've seen forever now. It seems like in the NBA, there's always somebody in the playoffs wearing one. Made famous by Rip Hamilton back in the day. I feel like he just put his on and never took it back off, though.
Yeah. It was like more of a good luck thing.
Right.
Put it on, and he just never took it off after that. So
Yeah. And so just from like a 30,000 foot view, it's easy to look at these games and say like Joel Embiid is a huge difference maker because they went from losing 2 games pretty significantly to then blowing out the Heat. However, I feel like there's more to the story because if you look at let me look at some of these stats here that I have. So in game 1, it was all Tobias Harris. Scored 27 points, but then the team shot 17% from behind the 3-point line. You're not going to win a game shooting 17% from 3. It's just not going to happen, especially when you're taking 34 attempts. This is actually the stat I was thinking of when I was talking about Jordan Poole. In game 1, Tyler Hero scored 25 points off the bench, and Philly's whole team only had 19 points off the bench. So as a whole, the Heat had 42 points off the bench. When your bench is able to more than double the other team's bench, I mean, you're going to be set up pretty good there. Game 2, Tobias Harris had 21 points, Maxey had 34, and Harden had 20, but they still only shot 26% from behind the arc. And then on the other side, you had Butler with 22, Bam with 23, Hero with 18, and Oladipo turned it on and had 19. And they shot 48.3% from 3-point. So huge differences there. But then in game 3, you had Danny Green came out for Philly and had 21 points. Joel Embiid had 18. Maxey had 21. Harden had 17. And then Harris had 9. And they shot 48% from 3. Butler, and for Miami, Butler was the only starter who finished in double digits with 33. Hero had 14 off the bench. But then that shooting struggle shifted its way over to Miami. Miami only shot 23% from behind the arc and then 35% from the field total. So for me, this game, so Joel Embiid obviously had a huge impact on this. But it's really coming down to shooting. And for me, Miami is the better shooting team. They just struggled in game 3. I think if they didn't have those struggles, Miami wins this game. I don't want to say easily because Joel Embiid does make a difference, but I still think Miami wins game 3 if they're able to knock down more shots. So for this game here, looking at Philly -2, I'm leaning Miami +2. I think Miami, they're going to fix their shooting struggles. Kyle Lowry came back for game 3, didn't score a point, played terribly, honestly. So I think that's going to be a huge difference maker if he can get going as well. Before I get into the total, I feel like I just talked a lot. Avery, I'd love for you to actually be able to get some airtime here as well.
Oh, no, it's all good. Yeah. Game 3, Danny Green went 7 of 9 for 3. So I think he was the leading scorer too. I think James Harden had 17. I think
Yeah.
he didn't shoot very well. So which I don't know. Like, hey, I got a joke for you. Actually, Zach. What does clean laundry and James Harden have in common?
I don't know.
They're both washed.
Oof.
No,
Ooh.
I'm joking.
Oh,
But
James Harden is gonna if he listens to this show, he is not gonna be happy with that.
hey, he's getting it from everybody, not just me. But it's like where's like I mean, we just want to see the old James Harden. Guy can just score at will, but that guy's gone now. He's more of a true point guard now. I don't know, but he's going to have one of those games in order if they want to win this series. But Joel Embiid, he didn't really do a lot like as far as point wise, but you could tell he kind of just like reinvigorated the team. His just his presence just like energized his teammates, and they went out there and got a victory. So yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if Danny Green's going to go 7 of 9 from 3. He needs. I mean, it certainly helps, but Tyrese Maxey. He played. I think he also had 21. So he's going to have to play. He's going to have to play well. He's got to do some of the scoring. Obviously, then Joel Embiid is going to have to, eventually become that MVP. He's going to have one of those performances. I mean, they're going to make it tough for him, obviously, because the Heat's really good defensively. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little stuck on this one. Just because they do got the MVP. I mean, like you said, they got to shoot. I mean, if they shoot better, and they lost by 20, so I don't know like how much better it could have been. Maybe been close. I don't know if they would have won. But Philly played better defensively the game. Mine's gonna need more from their role players. Bam Adebayo really didn't do all that much in Game 3 either. So that was kind of surprising. So I wouldn't expect that going forward. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is a toss. This is really a toss up for me. But if gun in my head, I'll say I'll go ahead and agree with you. And me personally, I'll take the under. For this game.
I would lean towards the under too, but before I dive into that, I do want to throw out what type of a difference Joel Embiid does make for the Sixers. So DeAndre Jordan was starting in his absence. Game 1, DeAndre Jordan had 4 points and 2 rebounds. Game 2, he had 6 points and 5 rebounds. So in those 2 games, he didn't even match Joel Embiid's numbers from one game. And then, like you mentioned, Game 3, Bam struggled a lot more, and that could have a lot to do with the fact that Embiid's back in the game. So, yeah, I mean, the Sixers are definitely a different team having that big guy presence down low. As far as the over/under goes, though, I mean, 207. I'm gonna take the under as well.
Yeah.
I think that
I mean, this really has been a high scoring series.
Yeah.
So.
And the Heat have such good defense. Like they're a strong defensive team. And with Joel Embiid, back in the paint, he's a difference maker down there. So I think the under's a pretty solid play here.
Yeah. Let's go with that. And then, James Harden, if he decides, the old James Harden decides to show up, I can see that changing. But, I mean, it's been what, like, I think it's been a couple of games. Like he's on a streak where he hasn't scored more than 25 points in the playoff game. So I don't expect that change anytime soon. I think you are who you are. So
Yeah. I don't know. With James Harden, it's tough because of the whole soap opera that happened in Brooklyn, and it seems like his whole career has kind of been that way. He gets frustrated, doesn't want to be somewhere, puts on a fat suit, looks out of shape.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I would have loved to have seen what that Oklahoma City team could have become back when they had Harden, Westbrook, Durant, Adams, Serge Ibaka. Like looking at that team, it's truly surprising that they weren't better.
There's no way they should have had like 2 or 3 rings at
Yeah.
least, like with just on paper. But,
yeah, but that's why you play the game, because it's not a paper sport.
Hey, I got another joke for you.
Let's hear it.
What else does James Harden and Clean Laundry have in common?
I don't know what.
They fold.
All right, moving on to the next series. We got Boston at Milwaukee. We're gonna have some James Harden fans not happy with us. Anyway, hey. Boston at Milwaukee, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Milwaukee is leading this series 2-1. Milwaukee's favored in this game tomorrow night by 1. But this is one of those strange games where both money lines are negative numbers. So Boston's minus 105 and Milwaukee's minus 115. At that point, it literally means that the odds makers think this is a coin flip, with a slight advantage to Milwaukee. Over under is 210. Game 1, it was Milwaukee won 101-89 for a total of 190. Game 2, Boston won 109-86 for a total of 195. In game 3, which was yesterday, Milwaukee won 103-101 for a total of 204. So none of these games have even really come close to that 210 number. We can talk about game 3 yesterday, where Marcus Smart should have been shooting 3 free throws instead of 2. That was a hell of a call that referee made by calling that on the floor. Made no sense to me. But had he got 3 shots, that game probably would have went into overtime, and they would have covered the 216 point total, I believe, is what it was yesterday. But so for this game, the way Giannis is playing right now, I think Milwaukee has the advantage here. And as far as the over under, I would take the under in this game, in this series, to just based off what we've seen so far. But Milwaukee was your initial pick to win the championship when we first started the playoffs. What are your thoughts on this series and the spread and point total for tomorrow's game?
When I watched this game last night, I'm thinking, man, they could Milwaukee could really use Chris Middleton right now. For both teams, like, baskets are hard to come by, and if they had that extra shot maker, like, that can make a huge difference. But they're finding ways to win. So, give kudos to Milwaukee right now. Yesterday that was pretty exhilarating. That last frantic little finish there. With the missed free throw, I do agree with the call. Not with the call. Like, I do agree with you that should have been a shooting foul. But Milwaukee or Boston shot 17 free throws for the past. I can't remember the time frame, but they shot 17 free throws when Milwaukee shot 0. So I mean, it wasn't really just like the refs just blowing calls out there. I mean, it was definitely a discrepancy when it came to free throw shooting. But yeah, I think Boston's going to win next game. Their best player, Jason Tatum,
10 points.
Only made 10 points off, was it 4 out of 4 of 19, 4 of 20 shooting, something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah. and I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say Jason Tatum is a great player, and great players don't really have two bad games in a row. So I'm going to say he's going to come out. He's going to come out more aggressive. Well, he was pretty aggressive. Still, 19 shot attempts. So I think he's going to come out. A little more focused. Game 4. Um, you know. So yeah, I'm going with the Celtics to win. It's gonna make it even harder. Like Giannis had a pretty good game, like as far as like from the field, over 50% or whatnot. Finally made a 3-pointer. He's like what 4? He's like four of like 20 something
Struggling.
For the playoffs. So
Struggling.
the old Giannis came back as far as like shooting, from yesteryears. So yeah, I think Boston will take a game. Take game 4. This is going to be, I did say that Milwaukee is going to win the series or win the championship. I still feel that way, but Chris Middleton is going to have to come back for sure. But yeah, and I also go with the under 2. Like, just shots are hard, shots are hard to come by. For both teams, like both teams are playing well defensively. So yeah, I will go with the under as well.
I apologize if anyone can hear the dog barking in the background. I don't know if it's coming through on your end, Avery, or not, but there's a dog right outside of my window where I'm sitting that is just going to town. So I apologize if that audio is coming through my mic also. I don't think it is, but just in case. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Baskets are going to be hard to come by. Boston is a good team, and Tatum had a struggle of a game. I just think Giannis, reigning MVP. I agree. Chris Middleton being there, I think that Milwaukee can win this series pretty easily, honestly. And Boston's a great team. That's not taking anything away from them. I just think that the matchups are just better for Milwaukee if Chris Middleton's there.
Yeah, I won't say easily, but I think he will make a huge difference. Just an extra shot maker on the floor. But yeah, Boston's got some balls on their side with Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown had a pretty good game, but they were switching Brown on Giannis, and Giannis was going to work on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they maybe found that matchup there, so they can find a way to switch. Get that whoever's guarding. Whoever's guarding the screener, if Jaylen Brown's guarding the screener, that screener, screens whoever's guarding Giannis. They switch on that, so they were doing that a lot yesterday. He got some of his points that way. So I think they found that matchup. So I think they like that. They're going to try to exploit that a little bit more. But yeah, this has been a really good series. Really physical basketball being played. So
yeah. Well, that wraps up all the games. Or all the series that are going on right now. Before we wrap the show up, do you have anything else you want to hit on?
Real quick. The draft happened last week. Quick pick. Who's your offensive and defense rookie of the year choice or early prediction? Somehow this always, goes back to football. It always does.
Always.
Always.
I'm going to go ahead and say, man, that's tough. I don't know. I feel like outside of the receivers, this class was not like blow you away type level talent. I don't know. You asked me, you put me on the spot and I wasn't prepped. So, next episode, I'm gonna have an answer for that. Yeah. Next episode, I'll have an answer for that.
I got you.
What about you? Who do you got?
Without doing much research or anything like that, I'll go Aiden Hutchinson for your defense rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, I will probably go
Garrett Wilson.
I was going to say Garrett Wilson. I like London Drake too. Since he's probably going to be the number 1 receiver. He's going to win, he'll win those 50-50 balls. He can, operate out of the slot and, out of the, outside. But yeah, I think between Garrett and Chris Olave too. I think between those 3. on if I had to do a sleeper pick, I'd probably say Reach Hall from from Iowa State with the Jets. So
Yeah, very possible.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd sound like an idiot if I try to talk about it right now,
yeah. So
without
we
actually looking at it. So we're gonna push that off to the next episode. Um, but Avery, I appreciate you again jumping on with me. Another great show. Looking forward to seeing these games play out today. Hopefully, my Mavericks can come away with a win. But if nothing else, I hope that total goes over. Silver linings, I guess. But yeah, that's going to wrap everything up. For the listeners out there, we appreciate you. Do me a favor, if you like the show, tell your friends, have them check us out on YouTube. Bourbon and Bets is the name of the channel. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Find us on social media, Bourbon and Bets on Facebook, Bourbon and Bets podcast on how am I drawing a blank on my own social media
and
name?
technical difficulties, man. Flustered you,
Technical
man.
difficulties. I just want to make sure I don't get those twisted up.
The show must go on, Zach.
Show must go on. It's just Bourbon and Bets. I had those backwards. Bourbon and Bets on Instagram and Bourbon and Bets podcast on Facebook. We don't dabble on Twitter. Tried it, not good at it. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But do me a favor. If you listened to the show, if you agree with our picks or disagree with our picks, either way, leave a comment down below in the on YouTube or on social media. We appreciate that. We love to engage with you. But until next time, with football and everything ramping up, we are going to start having a little bit more football conversation. But we're going to probably keep it pretty high level stuff until the NBA playoffs are over. But football is definitely where we feel most comfortable with all of our backgrounds in football and whatnot. But that's what we got today. Avery, thank you again. One more time, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day, obviously, to Avery's wife, Brandy. Y'all are the best. So we appreciate you. That's what we got, and we'll catch you on the next episode.